Welcome back, people, to We Talk Boxing. So this is just my late, obviously post-fight thoughts, obviously for the fight on the weekend between Lee Woods versus Mauricio Lara. Now, you know what I mean, big punching. You know what I mean. I should say it again, big punching. Mauricio Lara defeated his obviously opponent Lee Wood in style and in fashion. Do you know what I mean? But overall, it was a good, tough fight between both guys. Both guys had their success. You know what I mean? Within the fight, but it came down to that power, that aggression, and obviously, Mauricio Lara just shows why he's pretty much kind of avoided where most people don't really want to fight him in that division. He's very heavy handed. Do you know what I mean? For a featherweight. I was just about to say heavyweight, but for a featherweight, you know what I mean. He's very heavy handed. And he's proved it now on a few occasions. As I said, you know what I mean, in my pre-fight video, he fought Josh Warrington. Do you know what I mean? In the first fight, he knocked him out. Again, top of my head, I'm sure it was the ninth round. And then obviously in the second fight, it was a second round. The fight ended in the second round due to a cut. But prior to that cut, you know what I mean, Mauricio Lara had plenty of success in that fight. You know what I mean, which honestly I didn't, and I still don't think that Josh Warrington would have handled that power. You know what I mean, as the fight would have progressed, because obviously he was hurt quite early. But you know what I mean? We're here to talk about obviously Lee Wood versus Mauricio Lara, and as I said, it was a good fight between both guys. Both guys had success quite early. I thought Lee Wood had a good opening round in the fight. He tried to trade with Mauricio Lara, but he was also outboxing him at times. But for me, you know what I mean, Lara was just the aggressor. He kept coming forward and kept trying to land his big punches, and every time he threw something and landed, he was hurting Lee Wood. Second round for me was all Mauricio Lara. Obviously threw loads of brilliant combinations, but he hurt Wood, and he also caused a cut as well. But he hurt Wood in that second round, and it was quite evident from there that, in my eyes, the fight was only swinging one way. And also, rounds 3 and 4 for me were quite similar rounds, but good competitive rounds between both guys. Both guys, again, as I said, having success. Lee Wood boxing, you know what I mean, behind the jab, you know what I mean, trying to frustrate his opponent, and then every now and again catching his opponent, Lara, you know what I mean, with the right hand and the hooks. And as I said, having some success, you know what I mean, he hurt Lara on a few occasions in the third and the fourth round. But again, as I stated again in my you know what I mean, just recently, that every time Lara landed his shots and thrown his shots, he was always hurting Wood. You know what I mean? Every punch, you know what I mean, was designed to have an impact, you know what I mean, to drain some of that energy from Lee Wood. And he hurt him on, again, as I said, multiple occasions within the third and fourth round. But it's just hard to stop, and he's so durable as well because he could take a punch. Do you know what I mean? But he's always coming forward. He's always like, you know what I mean? He's like a steam train. He just doesn't want to stop, and he's always got a high guard, and he leans forward, and as I said, he's prepared to eat one or two just to land his one shot, Lara. You know what I mean? And yeah, is a formidable machine at this weight, to be fair. Now, as the fight edged closer towards its finale, Lee Wood's fifth round was probably his best round of the fight. Again, boxing from the jab, keeping his man at bay, but catching Lara multiple times with the left hook, which was his best shot throughout that round. And again, at times hurt and stunned Lara, where Lara had to kind of backpedal for the first time in the fight. And he was also breathing slightly heavier as well. Like, don't get me wrong, he was still, you know what I mean, his steam train like self, you know what I mean, he was still coming forward to try and land his own shots, but this was you know what I mean, a Lee Wood round, and Lee Wood had his most success in this round, and he hurt Lara, and he made him backpedal for the first time, so he was getting that little bit more confidence, and he was then thinking, you know what, maybe I could potentially cause a stoppage here because Lara's kind of like slowing down and he's hurt. So round 6 obviously saw Wood obviously have that little bit of success from round 5, so he had that confidence coming into round 6. His best punches for this round, you know what I mean, was that fake jab to the head, drop to the body sort of shot, you know what I mean, double jab sort of thing. But it was a good shot because it kept his man at range. And it just allowed him at times to fake the jab to the head, go to the body, and then come up with the right hand as well. With the, you know what I mean. So again, he was having that a little bit more success, but it was a pretty even round all round. Depending on how you wanted to kind of score it as a judge. But yeah, leading into the seventh, Wood, you know what I mean, from 2 rounds back to back, fifth and sixth, had that confidence, and this is what pretty much led to the demise really of the end of the end, because both guys trading and landing quite heavy in round seven. And I think it was, if I remember rightly, towards the last 30 seconds, you know what I mean, both guys threw like a leading hook. Whereas Lee Wood's one was slightly short of its target. Lara's was bang on target. And he put everything into that hook. Do you know what I mean, Lara? And as it landed, it was pretty much lights out. Obviously, Wood dropped to the canvas, managed to settle his brain and get himself back up to his feet. But he was all his legs were all over the place. His legs were gone, and my initial thought that it was quite premature for Ben Davison, because we have seen Wood obviously dropped before and got back up to win. But I think this time, because he was in there, there's about maybe 10, 15 seconds left, but he was in there with someone who is a big, devastating puncher. All it probably would have took is Lara to jump on him, land one really big left or right hand, and it's kind of curtains, and he could have seriously been hurt. So yeah, in the end, it was a good stoppage by Ben Davison, so fair plays to him. Now, obviously, a few days have passed since the fight, and there's talk about a potential rematch between both. Obviously, there was a rematch clause in there. It was a voluntary fight. And I feel as if, obviously, due to age, you know what I mean, Wood has to kind of pretty much go back into that fight straight away. You know what I mean, have a few months off, obviously, watch the fight over a few times, see what success you had, and try and tweak things. Do you know what I mean? But I think, you know what I mean, it's going to be hard to stop Mauricio Lara. You know what I mean? Like, now he knows that he can put you out. You know what I mean? I just don't think that having the rematch, having a bit of time off is going to be any different. I just think Lara will go into that contest again, and he potentially knock him out and stop him at some point. Same as if Lara went in there with Josh Warrington, he will stop him. Do you know what I mean? He will hurt Warrington. But fair play to Wood. He had some good success throughout the fight. He come up against a big punching featherweight. Do you know what I mean? Probably the biggest puncher in that division, to be honest, in my eyes. But yeah, he's got no choice but to go back for the rematch. And then, depending on what happens in the rematch, if he wins or loses, there's other fights out there which I'd like him to go back into Wood. Do you know what I mean? There's the Ward fight, which I think would be a decent fight, and even the Warrington fight as well. You know what I mean? Two British guys there as well, and obviously you got up and coming Nick Ball as well, which, you know what I mean, could potentially be a headliner as well. And then he's obviously got some bigger names in the division as well, such as Kiko Martinez as well, which we've seen what he's done with the likes of obviously Josh Warrington. So yeah, so that'd be interesting, and maybe a Dogbo as well. So there's a few fights out there still for Wood. I just don't see him having many more fights after the rematch. I honestly don't feel as if he's going to win the rematch. I just feel as if it's going to go the same way. And the only way that I could see him potentially winning this will probably be on points, and he would have to really just stick to his boxing and try and just stay away from Lara if you can, you know what I mean? And try and tie him up at every opportunity that you can. You know what I mean? To just stop him and nullify him, really. Because to be fair, he has got that in his locker. He has got good boxing skills to keep a man away. It's just that, obviously, from those last 2 rounds before the knockout, rounds 5 and round 6, he had that confidence, and he thought he was actually hurting and controlling the fight, and bang, a one-shot punch, which ended it. So yeah, that's my thoughts. A bit late with the post-fight reaction. But I've been away for the weekend, and obviously didn't really have my laptop or my equipment. But it was a good fight. And hopefully the zone could potentially put on a few more this year as well, especially for the latter half of the year. Be interesting to see what they've got installed. But yeah, my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts, guys, and as always, please subscribe and like and comment for more box related content. Bless.